Imagine this: you lose your job, your partner leaves, your health declines, and yet, you remain calm. Centered. Unshaken. Not out of cold detachment, but because you've trained your mind to see the world differently. This isn't a fantasy. This is Stoicism. For over 2,000 years, the Stoics have taught one powerful idea that can change your life forever: you cannot be harmed unless you allow it. That's not just a motivational phrase, it's a radical shift in how we experience pain, fear, loss, and even death. And once you internalize it, you'll discover something rare in this world: inner freedom. Let's begin. To understand the Stoic view of invincibility, we need to go back to ancient Greece, to a man named Zeno of Citium. Shipwrecked, penniless, and lost in a foreign city, Zeno wandered into a bookstore and picked up a book by Socrates. That moment changed everything. Zeno went on to found a philosophy not in ivory towers or temples, but on the streets, under the colonnades of Athens. His teachings would form the foundation of what we now call Stoicism. At the heart of Stoicism is a clear distinction: the difference between what is in our control and what is not. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, put it simply: some things are up to us and some things are not. Our thoughts, our judgments, our actions, those are within our power. Everything else, our body, reputation, wealth, the behavior of others, and even death, are not. Most suffering, the Stoics argue, doesn't come from events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." These aren't abstract ideas. They're tools. Lenses through which you can interpret everything that happens to you. Let's look at how this works, practically. Imagine someone insults you. They say you're worthless. They mock your dreams. Your initial reaction might be anger or shame. But the Stoics would ask, what part of that insult is truly yours? The words? No. Those belong to them. The judgment of those words? That's yours. And that's the only place harm can actually occur, in your interpretation. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you train yourself to pause, reflect, and ask, "Is this under my control?" you reclaim your power. You shift from being reactive to being sovereign. That's the first key to Stoic invincibility, understanding that harm doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. Now let's go deeper. What about grief? Or loss? Imagine losing someone you love. The Stoics did not deny that grief is painful. They simply taught that pain and suffering are not the same thing. Pain is natural. It happens to all of us. Suffering, however, comes from clinging to the illusion that things must be permanent. Stoics used the analogy of life as a play. Epictetus wrote, "Remember that you are an actor in a play, the nature of which is determined by the playwright. If it be short, then it is short, if long, then it is long. If he wishes you to act a poor man, a cripple, a ruler, or a private citizen, see that you act it well." This metaphor reframes everything. You are not the director. You are the actor. Your job is not to control the stage, the length of the play, or the actions of others. Your job is to perform your role with excellence. Let's take another example: betrayal. A friend lies to you. A business partner cheats you. What do? The common response is rage, bitterness, vengeance. But Stoicism trains us to respond differently. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, when someone does wrong, it is because they do not know what is right. No one does wrong willingly. This isn't about letting people off the hook. It's about understanding that the actions of others are not within your control, and therefore, cannot truly harm you unless you give them permission. You preserve your peace not by condoning their actions, but by choosing your own response. And that response? It should be aligned with virtue. Because to the Stoics, virtue is the only true good. Let's pause here and define that. What does virtue mean in the Stoic sense? It means living in accordance with reason and nature. It means practicing wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, no matter what is happening around you. You cannot control the storm. But you can control how you sail. This is what makes a person truly invincible, when their happiness, their peace, their sense of worth, is no longer tied to external things. Wealth? It can vanish overnight. Reputation? It can be destroyed by rumor. Health? It fades, eventually, for all of us. But virtue, that is yours. Always. Let's apply this to modern life. Say you're scrolling through social media. You see people flaunting their success, their perfect relationships, their achievements. The comparison trap pulls you in. You feel behind. Inadequate. Here's what Epictetus would say. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In other words, don't measure yourself by the standards of others. Measure yourself by the standards of virtue. Ask, did I act with integrity today? Did I show courage where fear wanted to take over? Did I choose justice over convenience? These are the metrics of a Stoic life. Everything else is noise. You see, Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about having emotional discipline. It's not about rejecting love, or joy, or sadness. It's about recognizing that your judgment about those emotions, that's where your freedom lies. Marcus Aurelius, facing war, plague, and betrayal, wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is real power. Not power over others. Not domination. But power over your own mind. Let's bring it all together with a powerful Stoic exercise. The next time you face something difficult, whether it's an argument, a rejection, or even a minor inconvenience, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Then ask, what virtue can I practice right now? Is it patience? Courage? Honesty? Humility? That's your compass. That's your anchor in the storm. You'll start to notice something strange and powerful. The world doesn't change, but you do. And when you change, your experience of the world is transformed. You no longer react to insults, to chaos, to fear. You respond, with clarity, with strength, with grace. That's what it means to be a Stoic. There's a quote I want to leave you with. From Seneca. You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. Let that sink in. You fear death as if it's the end, but chase pleasure as if you'll live forever. The Stoic flips that. They prepare for death daily, not out of morbid obsession, but so they can truly live. They ground themselves not in chasing what they can't control, but in becoming what no one can take away. A mind trained by wisdom. A heart disciplined by virtue. A soul anchored in peace. That is the Stoic secret to invincibility. This is Stoivault. If this spoke to you, subscribe and step into the vault of timeless strength. Remember, the obstacle is not in your way. It is the way.